Welcome back, everyone. With the release of Shadowlands, I've been playing a ton of WoW lately, and it's had me thinking back on the many private servers I've played throughout the years, before the release of Classic. Some of my best MMO experiences took place on WoW private servers, so I thought, why not dig into their history? At the center of the birth of WoW emulation is a man nicknamed Skull. The year is 2003, and Skull was a huge fan of the Warcraft RTS series, and was determined to get his hands on a copy of the then-rumored vanilla World of Warcraft's alpha. Skull assembled a team of friends and tried to hack into Blizzard to steal himself a copy. That didn't work due to what Skull called major flaws. What came next is a bit hazy, but the prevailing theory is that Skull made a contact within Blizzard who snuck the alpha client into his hands. No one is sure who this contact was, if he even exists, but somehow or another, the client was leaked to Skull and his team. Skull made an announcement to the various Ware scene members and sites that he had successfully attained access to the Friends and Family Alpha. Across the Ware scene, this message was posted everywhere. Open source proponents, crackers, and anarchists alike rejoice, as an alpha version of World of Warcraft has allegedly been secured and is now supposedly making its way around Ware's circles. This news comes from Skull's hack site, who says Warforge, infamous for their work in Battle.net emulation for the War 3 and TFT betas, is already working on server software for the WoW leak. Availability for those outside of Kraken groups is limited at best, and the situation has now just grown past rumor. But details and screenshots can be found here and here, if you wish to judge for yourself. Now, these screenshots are long gone, so I can't show you, but this post was everywhere back in 2003. It didn't take long for members of the scene to verify what Skull was saying was true. He did, in fact, have an authentic copy of the game. The alpha client was quickly distributed via torrents, with thousands now hosting the files on their computers. There was one little problem, however. There was no way for anyone to play the game. There was no server for those with this leaked alpha client. At this point, Blizzard hadn't even announced publicly that they were working on an MMO, let alone a Warcraft one. The release of this alpha client to the public had made the announcement for them. Blizzard addressed the leak with this statement. As many of you know, we are currently conducting an internal alpha test for World of Warcraft. Our goal for this alpha test is to provide the best possible experience for players when the beta launches in early 2004. In order to accelerate the testing process, we recently allowed a small group of external testers to play the game. During this process, a collection of files was leaked to the internet. While these files contain alpha content from the game, they are not fully playable, and therefore do not convey the experience that World of Warcraft will provide when released. We are currently investigating this matter, and will take serious action against those involved. As always, we appreciate the interest and enthusiasm that players around the world have for the World of Warcraft, and we look forward to delivering a massively multiplayer game, unlike any you have ever experienced. Until then, we ask that you refrain from sharing any content that doesn't come directly from Blizzard Entertainment. It's safe to say that this is one of the most PR ways to show that Blizzard was absolutely pissed about this leak. Word of this leak had reached a programmer with the alias of Lax. Known for his MMO botting programs at the time, Lax set about reverse engineering the alpha client with a few packet logs that had remained in the files of the alpha client. With those few logs, Lax was able to create a small sandbox client for himself and his friends. He was able to create a character named Lax, run around and explore the world somewhat. He passed the code on to another friend named Cold Ice, who would then host the server as Stormcraft Sandbox. And with it, the very first World of Warcraft emulator had come out before the game itself had even been released. Though it was extremely barebones, it would be the foundation upon which all future servers were built. Following the release of his sandbox, Lax joined together with a few other programmers to make the Stormcraft Town Hall server. Along with his new team, they spent a week building server architecture and adding various features. As time went on, the team switched from their focus to things like spells, pathfinding, quests, and individual classes. Others had attempted to work with Lax's code, but would never be able to catch his team's speed and skill. Cold Ice would continue to host public tests for the Town Hall, reaching around 200 players at its peak, all clustered in a few tiny areas with only a few limited things to do. However, they could explore this new and exciting world. At the time, 200 people on an emulated server was massive. There had never been anything else like it before. At around this point, Lax would return to another one of his projects, MacroQuest 2, a botting program for EverQuest. Janarin, another team member, would emerge as the new leader of the team and would go about releasing Janarin's Abyss. Built off of Stormcraft Town Hall, Janarin would work hard on this new server, reverse engineering the WoW.exe, allowing him to add even more features to the game. Slowly, the team would split apart and the project would be abandoned. But as we all know, this would not be the end of WoW private servers. Tons of various teams would come about, making their own attempts at hosting their very own server. A few of note were Rift, a server created by one man, Alex M. Written in Visual Basic, Rift was the first server to get WoW's chat system working, though at the cost of being able to see anyone. Next came Future WoW, written in Delphi by Stans. Alex M. would eventually join this project as well. Future WoW lasted until 2006, when the workload became too much as they realized they would need to rewrite the code from scratch to make further progress. Next came the much larger Team Python, consisting of 16 programmers, who rewrote the whole thing ironically in C++. With the release of WoW, Team Python employed packet-sniffing programs to make further progress with the game. Team Python was able to add things like vendors, mounts, items, a combat system, flight paths, and 2 whole working abilities. Team Python also developed the majority of the GM commands that many private servers use to this day. Building off of Team Python was Chaos, a 3-man team who wrote their server in C#. Chaos managed to add multiple cores to the server, creating a login core, realm list, and multiple world servers. They also managed to add better movement, creatures, custom items, and a world your character would go to when it died. Throughout its history, Chaos was extremely closed off and required an invite from current members to gain access to. Eventually, Chaos would fall to Blizzard's legal teams. Following Chaos would be a 2-man team called Vibe, furthering WoW emulation in C++ yet again. Vibe was quite popular at the time, and known for being incredibly stable before it was brought down by Blizzard. Before the server went down, Team Vibe would hand over their source code to Blizzard as well. It's rumored that some of their server code is still used to this day. WoW Daemon would come towards the end of this era of emulation. Led by now legendary emulation dev, CodeMonkey, they too continued to add features, optimize code, and add more abilities until they were rounded up by Blizzard's legal department. For one final emulation hurrah, various members of the different teams came together to once again revive Stormcraft. Progress marched ever on, until Blizzard grew tired of those emulation communities and struck at their heart. Blizzard took down every emulator they could find. There were tons of smaller ones throughout the internet at the time, and a few fairly large Russian servers as well, all of which were taken down. Blizzard also managed to take down the hub of all WoW private servers at the time, GotWoW. With Blizzard taking down the core of emulators and striking down every server it could find, interest in working on these projects started to fade. Following the scouring of the servers, one would remain, WoWEmu. The WoWEmu team continued to push the game forward, all the while frequently being targeted by a group known as Blizz hackers, who would routinely hack WoWEmu, releasing all of their work publicly. The team of WoWEmu got tired with their work being stolen and shut down the project. Blizz hackers would eventually be caught by Blizzard's legal team and shut down as well shortly after. These early emulation giants would pave the path for further private servers to follow. Eventually, as we all know, these teams began hosting their servers in places outside of Blizzard's legal reach, and many, many more private servers would spring up from the ashes. These once buggy and incomplete servers would slowly, over time, become mere images of World of Warcraft itself, featuring only minor differences from the game, as it was in each specific patch. Today, many would argue due to the popularity of these private servers, we can now play the original World of Warcraft in all of its glory with WoW Classic. If Skull never got his hands on the Alpha client, would we have seen such a prevalence in WoW emulation? Did Blizzard's frequent public takeovers of emulators eventually grow interest towards private servers? Let me know what you guys think below, and thank you all for watching the birth of World of Warcraft private servers. If you like this content, please leave a like and subscribe so that others can see it and you can see more. Thanks again, and I hope you all have a good one.